Now, here's a little video clip that may only be of interest to a very specific subset of viewers, and that's those who own a Westfalia camper van. Westfalia camper van, I should probably say. Now, these have, you may be able to see up here, an LED strip above the door, which is very nice. And they come with a remote control that you can have on your keyring, so you can turn that on and off as you approach the van and change the brightness and so on, which is very cool. Unfortunately, they only give you one. And so my wife and I couldn't have one on both of our keyrings, and so I decided it was better just to keep it in the van. I'll show you where I put it. So there's the LED strip. And I carefully velcroed my remote here. Oh, it's not there. So this was a nice place to put it because you could press the button just before you're going outside, but it has the unfortunate problem that if it falls off, it goes dunk and bounces out of the van somewhere, never to be seen again. So what I need to do is work out another way of turning that light on and off, because you can't get a spare remote. Now, it's not hard to get the actual control units that control the LED, and they come with a remote, and they're very cheap. They cost, £12 or something on Amazon. But what I have to do is work out how that goes into the trim of the van up here, and I may get a replacement unit, or I may actually just put a switch, which would do me just fine, and then I wouldn't have any more remotes to lose in the future. So let's see if we can work out how to take this apart. Now, the wonderful vendors from whom I bought the van, Camper Sales, tell me that the easiest way to get at this unit is behind the control panel here. And because I don't really want to try and take all of this trim off, and it is, as I guessed, it's inside here. So you basically need to remove these chrome strips. They pop off with a tool, something like, trim removal tool here. And behind these there should be some screws, 4 screws I think, and they said to take those off, and before you take the last one out, make sure that you are hanging on to the panel very carefully, because otherwise it drops out. So we will have to watch for that. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to film while I do this. Let's see. That was less tricky than I thought. So gentle prying all the way along. See if I can get now in the top one. I probably need this right angle. There we go. So it was a bit tight under the right hand end, but I've been able to loosen it there and just very gently pry that off. Very good. Okay, these are very cheap, by the way. You could use other things, maybe a credit card or something if you don't have one of these. But on the rare occasions when you need a trim removal tool, you can buy sets very cheaply. Okay, let me see if I can show you here. There are 4 screws here, 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 and here, and I will try removing those. Okay, so I've taken these out, and sure enough, there, the panel comes out and gives me a reasonable amount of space. These are better than the older panels for that point of view, and somewhere in there I'm expecting that, well, I don't feel anything, but I will do some digging and see if I can find the controller. I'm going to carefully remove. I have turned off using the master switch under the passenger seat in the British version. Turned off all the power back here just so I don't accidentally confuse anything. Okay, let me go digging. Okay, so here's the connector for the panel. There's the panel itself, and that connector just slides on here, so you can just slide it off, and you then get this dark void. So I have a torch here. Let's see, right, and the camera adjusts to that, and what you can see up there is a little black box that says oh no, it's not that one, it's this one. It's directly ahead of you. LED single color dimmer. That is what you need. And actually, it even has push for these crimp connectors, which means taking the wiring out is very easy. But I may just put a switch in there. I think that's going to be easy. I'll need to, if I do that, I'll need to be able to I'll need to drill a hole and fit the switch in the panel here. Yeah, I wonder about that. Okay, anyway, this looks like it should be easy to get at. It's that box there. And you know what? There's even enough slack on the cables back there on mine that I can bring it right forward. Oh, thank you, Westfalia. That was very good of you. That makes this a very easy process. So yes, these are not hard to find online. You can just take this out and replace it. That would be the easiest thing to do. Now, I've put a chocolate block connector on here. I was going to connect these together just to check that the lights came on if the circuit was taken out completely. I did notice when I looked that these red wires here have a black crimp on them, and the brown wire there has a red crimp on them. So whereas these are clear red and black. So I did actually go and look carefully at the photo I took beforehand, and yes, these red ones are, as you would expect, the live. Maybe they put a black crimp on just, to indicate that it's sometimes switched or something. The brown one is the earth. Maybe that's the one that's switched. But these two here, so this has two red wires coming into it. It's probably part of an ongoing ring. These ones on the right here, simple red and black cables, those are the ones that go to the light. These are the ones that supply the power, and I've tested that by turning the power back on and measuring the voltage on them. So that's what we're looking at there. And sure enough, if I turn on my red isolator switch here under the passenger seat, and at the moment I have connected, basically just taken the unit out of the circuit, connected the live to the live and the neutral to the neutral, and though it's a bit, actually no, it still shows quite nicely even in daylight. There is my light working, so that's clearly what I need to switch if I want to switch it. Now, one thing I discovered when I started looking online for replacement units is that A, this one is easy to find, but B, there are various other options, and of course they have a current rating. This one is rated at 8 amps. Now, I can't imagine that this LED is going to take anything like 8 amps. 100 watts of LED would be really quite bright, but it's a good idea to check. So I have put my ammeter in circuit with it, and let's see how much it does actually take. So here we go. If I put that on there, I'm connecting the two lives with the ammeter. You can see the light has come on, and we are reading 0.65 amps. So that is very little. That means that is a 7-8 watt light, which sounds entirely plausible to me. And yeah, that's good, because basically it means any kind of dimmer, not just this one. You see, this one is rated for up to 8 amps, which could dim really quite a lot of lights, and we only need 0.67. Okay, I'm back inside now. Let's have a look online at what units we could buy to replace that little dimmer unit we've taken out. Turns out there are a few options. So I went onto Amazon and I searched for 12 volt LED single colour dimmer, and you get lots of options, and one of them looks rather familiar. So the easy solution here is just to buy a replacement unit for the one we've got, which is just $7.99. But then I thought, well, that still has the same problem of a losable remote, and let me just look at a couple of the other options here. So one possibility is this one. So this looks quite nice. I'd quite like that in the van, and it is, the only thing about this is it's 2 inches by 3 inches for that front plate. That's a little bit larger than I need for a function I very seldom use. There's plenty of space for it next to the control panel, but I might one day want to use that space for something else. So even though the hole you make is much smaller, the fascia that goes over the front is 2 inches by 3 inches, 50 by 70, or nearly 3 inches. And so I thought perhaps that's a little big. So then I thought, well, maybe I'll go for this one. Now, this looks very nice. This is a physical push button, and if you press and hold it, then that will, and you can get it in black or silver. If you press or hold it, it will change the brightness. It will remember the last brightness you set, which will, of course, take a little bit of quiescent current here. But of course, the old remote that this one that's listening for the remote control must also take a bit of quiescent current. So I'm not too worried about that. And what I thought was going to be brilliant about this is it has a light on it. You see, what I would really like is some indication inside the van that the light was on outside the van, because I have more than once accidentally left that thing blazing away all night. And so I thought this was going to be perfect. By the way, this comes with the large fascia as well, but you don't have to use that. You can have it like this. But unfortunately, what I've discovered by watching a couple of the little videos is that this backlight here is something you can choose to have switched on or off so that you can find it in the dark, but it doesn't actually bear any relation to whether the light is switched on or not outside, which is a pity, because I would love a button that glowed. And so I'm left with either I'll just do the easy thing and go for the original unit, which is also the cheapest by quite a long way, or I go for a regular 12-volt switch which doesn't have dimming capabilities but does have a light on the inside of the van. Let me have a look at those. Okay, well, I think this one might be quite good. So I was looking for ones which had a round hole because I trust myself to drill a nice circular hole in my precious panelling better than I trust myself to make a square cutout. And this basically, I think, will do what I want. If I just want a physical on-off switch, that will also be illuminated when the outside light is on. So I think this could be quite good. And you get 3 of them for $7.99, so I'm going to give that a try. Okay, so it's the following day, and some bits have arrived by post. So here's the little switch, which I'm hoping to install about here somewhere. And this has 4 lines coming out of it. So the 2 green ones are the ones that are actually switched by the switch being pressed or not. And the red and the black ones power the little light that is in the switch. So, using my favourite Wago connectors here, I've basically got the 3 neutrals, the 3 negative lines all connected together here. So that's the one that's coming from the battery power supply, the one that's going out to the strip light, and the one that's going to power the little light in the switch. Those are all connected together. And then the incoming, it's a bit hard to see here and to do this single-handed, the incoming positive thing goes through the switch, out on this green line, where it's connected to the red line for the switch, which should, I hope, cause it to light up, and the red line for the light strip outside, which should cause that to light up. Let me turn the power on and see what happens. And if I press in the little switch, oh look, it glows nicely, and you can probably see over there that as I turn it on and off, the little light strip turns on and off. Okay, that is all good. So now we just have the really terrifying thing for me of drilling a hole in the right place over here, because this is my shiny new, very expensive Westfalia camper van, and I know if I get the hole wrong here, I'm not going to be able to fix it. Let's go get the drill. Now I'm having a problem screwing it in through the little hole here because the little pins on the back of the switch have a tendency to bend when you put the connector on, and it's very hard to see what you're doing in there. Fortunately, these come in a 3-pack, so if this one gets bent I can easily replace it with another if it can't get it to line up. But you do have to do it back there, because you can't put the connector on and then pull it back through. You have to put the connector on from the back. So we will keep it persevering. Well, finally I got them to line up on the back, the connectors, and so here is my little light, and you can probably see over there that is the outside light lighting up, and there's a nice little red glow over here when it's lit. This is just what I wanted. That is very discreet, and I think that'll work nicely. Let me put everything back together. Now actually, just before I put it all back together, I'm going to use some of this double-sided foam tape here just to stick on the back of the little Wago connectors. If I can get in there, I wish I'd thought of this before putting them in there, just to stick them to a bit of the panelling so that they don't rattle as we're going along. They are stuck down there, and I'm confident that nothing there is going to rattle now, so that's good. Right, here's the connector for the control panel. Let's put that back on. Last bits, little bits of trim, which I hope will just push back on. Yes, and soon no one would guess I had been digging away in the back of here. Isn't trim a wonderful thing? We have our unit, all seems to be working, that's good. And over here we have the little switch for turning on and off the power. I am very pleased with that. The only thing we've lost, of course, is the ability to dim the outside light, but some of those dimmers do actually make a little bit of a buzz, so I'm not too worried about losing that. And I've only made a tiny 12mm hole in here, so I'm confident that if I wanted to put some sort of dimmer switch in later, I could put it there and have the plate cover up the hole that I made. So there you go. I'm very pleased with that. That's just what I wanted. Saves me having a remote I can lose, which is no longer needs to be velcroed here. And in particular, thank you very much to Hayley and Rob, the nice after-sales support people at Campus Sales, who told me that this was the way to find the controller for the LED, because otherwise, who knows where I could have been exploring. Thank you both, and I hope that was useful to somebody else out there.